Assalamualaikum. Hello, Assalamualaikum. Hello, Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me? Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Let us start our session with Surah Al-Fatiha first. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alright. I really apologize for the delay for this session due to some technical errors. Okay, Alhamdulillah, welcome to ICCTME Current Trends in the Middle East Virtual International Joint Conference on COVID-19 Global Impacts. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce myself. I am Nur Hanisa binti Senin. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. I am Nur Hanisa binti Senin from College Universiti Islam Antarabangsa Selangor. So for this session, I will be your moderator for our first session here for this parallel session. So basically, the theme for this session is on tourism, health, and religion. Everyone will be given 10 minutes for their presentation. Then we will have Q&A, question and answer session at the end of the session. Without further ado, let me introduce first the presenter for the first paper. The title is Halal Chicken Supply Chain in Educational Institution. It is written by Nur Rashida binti Muhammad Arifin, but will be presented on behalf of her by her supervisor, Dr. Rashida. So I think I would like to give the floor to the first presenter. Dr. Rashida, you there? Sorry, doctor, we can't hear you. Dr. Rafida have some difficulties, technical difficulties. Maybe we could wait for some time. Hello, Dr. Rafida, you there? Yeah, we can hear you. Can you adjust your mic?
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Yes, doctor, I can hear you. Alhamdulillah, finally. Is it okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, yeah,
My
Alhamdulillah.
okay. So I want to share my slide, okay?
Alright, okay. You may start.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So my presentation is about halal supply chain in educational institution. Okay. So actually this is my project with my student. Okay. She is my master student, Nur Rashidah binti Muhammad Arifin. So we are trying to apply halal supply chain in educational institution. So in order to search about what is the meaning of halal supply chain, we try to identify what are the real meaning of halal supply chain according to the recent researchers. Okay, so we find about 19 research about halal supply chain, and there are several definitions of halal supply chain. So according to Khan et al. 2018, Omar and Jafar et al. 2011, and then Azmi 2018, halal supply chain means flow of material. Okay, flow of material. And then according to Hafiz, Rasi, Zulfakar, Markotiman, and Omar and Shah, they define halal supply chain as food production management from different points of suppliers. And then according to Markotiman, Jack and Van der Vos 2020, 2012. Okay, halal supply chain means food production management with the objective of halal network and halal integrity. Then, according to Rasi, Marketiman and Zainuddin, halal supply chain means implementation of halal business policies. Then, according to Rasi et al., 2017, halal supply chain means integration between conventional supply chain and Sharia principles. And then, according to Ngah and Omar, halal supply chain means activities of halal supply chain. So these are the summaries of the definitions of halal supply chain. Okay, it's about flow of material, and then food production management. Okay, the implementation of halal business, the integration between conventional supply chain, and then the activities of supply chain. So, according to research about the definitions of halal supply chain, we are doing only the library research, okay, from the journals, conference proceedings, and then by using the content analysis, by using the Atlas TI. So, in our research, we try to search or to do the research on how the halal chicken supply chain done at school canteen within the which recognized as part of educational institution, right? So we as Muslims, Muslims parents have to know about how the halal chicken supplied within the canteen or school canteen. Okay, so according to the definitions, of halal supply chain, we have to understand. Okay, we have to understand that the halal chicken should be provided. Okay, the halal chicken should be provided among the school canteen. Okay, so how to know that the halal chicken is well supplied to the school canteen? So the food providers, in the school canteen or the school management should ensure that the halal chicken is supplied according to the proper halal chicken supply chain. So halal chicken is produced by halal certified slaughterhouse. Okay, halal certified slaughterhouse, and then according to the halal critical points, okay, there are 5 to 6 halal critical points should be ensured by the halal certified slaughterhouse to produce the halal certified chicken. Okay, so the certified halal chicken should be produced to the suppliers. Okay, to the suppliers, and then the suppliers should be ensured they provide the halal chicken to the supermarket and then to the groceries. Okay, so and then this certified halal chicken should be produced to the school canteen. So who are playing the important role? Okay, there are several entities or several agencies should be should take the role to ensure that the halal chicken is supplied into school canteens in our states. Okay, so for the conclusion, it is important to the food providers in school canteen and then the school management to ensure that the halal certified chicken supplied among their communities. Okay, so that's all for my presentation. Okay, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, according to my presentation and laptops. Okay, that's all for me from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Rafida, for your brief and very holistic presentation on halal food, halal chicken supply chain in educational institution. I believe it's very, I guess, beneficial for us to know, although it's a brief presentation. Okay, maybe Dr. Rafida, you may want to continue for your next paper on halal integrity in halal food supply chain from a literature to a conceptual framework, done by Dr. Rafida and also her supervisor Nur Hidayah binti Muhammad Ali. I give the floor to Dr. Rafida again. Thank you.
Uh, okay, for the presentation, from Miss Hidayah, I'm sorry I can't do the presentation right now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, that's all.
Oh, so you will not the paper on halal integrity will not be presented?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay then. Okay. So
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you. Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation. Now I would like to call upon our second presenter, Dr. Hasrul. Sorry, Dr. Hasrul. I was just informed that you will be presenting in this room in this session. Maybe I just give the floor to you, Dr. Hasrul.
Right. Thank you, Nurhanisa Senin, right? I think I had tried several times just now, and I saw your names, and
Yeah. Okay.
I've been told that I was I was in the wrong room, so
I
I
see.
re-entered several times, and in
But
fact now
couldn't
it's
get through, is it?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
well, I was in the room, but I've been told that
Ah.
it was a wrong room. So now,
Ah.
in fact, now it shows in my computer it's room 4, it's not room 5. So
Yes.
anyway, thanks a lot to Prof. Kamruzaman for providing me the new link, and
Ah.
I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
It's okay.
Well,
No problem.
well, sorry. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. Thank you to moderator, panelists, as well as the members of the floor. Okay. My papers. It is about the British healthcare and humanitarian aid to Palestinians in two different occasions. First, it was during the 1967 war, the Six-Day War, and the second occasion is during the current stage during pandemic era. The main point of my research, which I just want to highlight here. I'm sorry I don't provide the uh, all this what do you call it material for you, but it's okay. Maybe afterwards, if the paper published, then you can read the whole text. Okay, I just highlight the main point. So my main point in this paper uh, is I compare the effort, all right, by the British government and their NGOs to assist the Palestinians to overcome or to face the healthcare problem in 1967 and for the pandemic at the moment, right? Uh, I use mostly in my research, I utilize documents, especially in 1967, archival documents. Okay, mostly all these documents declassified from the National Archive in London. And for the recent pandemic case, most of the documents which I utilize are documents from WHO or from Ministry of Health in Palestine, as well as from London. So I compare both occasions. And I found from my research, it shows that the British, either the government or the NGO, which the NGOs have been supported, fully supported by the British government, continuously assisting the Palestinians, okay, in 1967 as well as at the present. They provided, well, there are a few examples which I wrote in my papers. For example, in 1967, they provided healthcare material, medicines and tents, to the Palestinian refugees. Actually, there are two different categories. First is Palestinian refugees, and the second category, what they call as a displaced persons. Displaced person was the refugees after 1967 war. Sorry. All right. Hold on. Uh, So they provided tent, they provided medicine, okay, and then they run a campaign for donations, not just to the Palestinian in the tents scattered all over Jordan or Syria or Egypt. No, or Egypt, but they also provided assistance to the government, the host government, like they provided financial aids to the Jordanian government in order to assist the Palestinian who live in Jordan. Okay, so I hold on. Okay, sorry. There is another another apps open. Okay, all right. So I'm not going to go for the detail, because in my paper I listed how many tents, for example, how much money provided by them, and then what sort of healthcare equipment. I listed all the list in my paper, so you can read it soon. Maybe I just pick one example. For instance, the government provided tents from Cyprus. They sent tents for the refugees scattered at the desert. Okay. The second part, I studied about what have been done by the British government since 2020, to assist again the Palestinian to combat the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. For example, they provided financial aids. They provided, the oxygen equipment, test kits to the Palestinians, and it's the same like in 1967. Their NGOs also assisted the refugees. In my paper, I listed list of health equipments, a list of activities carried by all these NGOs supported by the British government to assist the the Palestinians who face the pandemic at the moment. It is not just a pandemic, but for example, the frontliner, the Palestinian frontliners, in one side, they have to run all these uh, test kits, provided medications, everything to the Palestinians. But another side, they have to face a threat from the Israelis, military force. Okay, so all these problems is very critical. It's very critical for the Palestinian currently, but the British government, as well as their NGOs, continuously assisting the Palestinian. It's the same like in the case of 1967. 1967. For example, of the refugees in my papers is the MEP. MEP. This is a group of doctors, medical expert. MEP stand for Medical Aid for Palestinian. This is the NGO based in London. And something interesting about this MEP, this MEP founded by a doctor, and she is Malaysian, and she's from Penang, originally from Penang, and worked in Singapore, and then moved to London, and now live in London. If you have read her books, Dr. Ang Swee Chai, from I can't remember the exact title of her books, from Lebanon, something like that, where she was in the Shabra and Shatila camp at that time. If you're familiar with that case, where there was a massacre to Palestinian refugees in the camp in southern Lebanon, and then the massacre was led by the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ariel Sharon, if you still remember, or if you're familiar with that case. And Dr. Ang Swee Chai was the doctor in the camp at that time. All right, so she witnessed the brutality of the Israeli army, assisted by the Phalangist group, the radical Christian group in Lebanon, to kill in the refugees camp in Shabra and Shatila. So Dr. Anne Swee Chai, when she returned to UK or to London, she established this medical association, a group of medical officer called MEP, and they established offices all over Palestine, in Gaza or in the West Bank, as well as they built hospitals, and also they give a donation where they receive a lot of donations from NGOs, from the public, not just in UK but all over Europe. Okay, and there are also a few more NGOs. Maybe you can read my paper soon. For example, in 2019, since 2019, they provided, or they donated to the Palestinian in the camp, in the refugees camp, more than 8.7 million pounds for a medical program. And also other groups such as Action Aid, Welfare Associations of UK, and then a few more groups and NGOs. And it's the same like in 1967. It's the same like 1967. There were Christians AIDS. There were Christian AIDS, and then YMCA, Oxfam, all right, and then they run all the campaign all over Europe. concert and everything, in order to collect money, and then they channel the money and give the money, donated the money to the Palestinian refugees who scattered all over Lebanon, all over Lebanon, as well as Syria and Egypt. Okay, so from the comparison, I found that there is one similarity or a common idea for them, and well, some people they argue that this kind of assistance, either it's a financial or medical assistance, there is a hidden agenda by the British or their NGOs. Well, I'm not going to argue on that part because it's very different focus. I had written one article, and it has been published at UIA, where I started to question, the nature or the motive, the nature and the motive of all this assistance. So that paper have been published by UIA, where I said is good. For example, in my argument, I said it was good to assist these refugees, the poor refugees. They face all these pandemic, malnutrition. It's very good. But I said there was one part which they just ignore, and they did not do anything. In the case of 1967, which is to force the Israelis to accept Palestinians to go back, to return to their own land, because they've been expelled in the war illegally, all right, and to return to Palestinian the land that been occupied by the Israelis. This has not been done by the British government or the NGOs, but that's different papers. For these papers, I just want to show you that this government, the British government, as well as the NGOs, regardless their background, regardless their ideology, regardless the leaders of the group or the government, either it's from conservative or it's from labor, doesn't matter. They continuously assisting. This is the fact. They continuously assisting the Palestinian in facing all this, threat and pandemic. The hidden agenda, that's different question. That's different question. So that's the fact. Suffice to say that in 1967, we knew that most of the assistance came from the UNRWA. UNRWA is the agency at the United Nations to assist the Palestinian refugees. And I would like to say, from the data or from the document, it shows that the British was the second biggest donator to the UNRWA fund for Palestinian. Okay, so that's the fact that we cannot deny it. And it's the same thing in the current pandemic. And I'm not going to go further, but I was a bit curious or maybe sad when I studied all these records and documents. For example, in 1967, I couldn't find any what they call Muslim or Islamic NGOs who assisted Palestinian refugees during this critical time. But in the current situation, there are one or two. One of the Islamic or maybe Muslim NGOs in the UK called Islamic Relief. But the majority of them, either in 1967 or in at the present, they don't have any background which can be linked with Islam or with Muslim or with Arabs, nothing to do with that. And then you can see like Dr. Ang Sui Chai and then the group of for instance, Christian Aid, they are not Muslim. This is, for me, is something very interesting. And last but not least, we have to study, and I had mentioned this in the previous, I think, seminar or whatever. I think a few weeks ago, also organized by UTM, and there was Cikgu Azmi as one of the presenters during that seminar. I said we have to learn from what has been done by the British. Uh, you can see they never link their activity, whatever their background, with ethnic, with religion, with religion, especially with religion. And I found that in Malaysia, we have. I'm not going to say it's wrong, but we try to see the positive part. I couldn't find, for instance, the campaign or the NGOs who really concerned about the Palestinians, especially during the current situation now with the pandemic. Most of the NGOs in Malaysia, they always use and always link the activities with Islam. I don't say it's wrong. No, no. Please be clear. I'm not saying it is wrong. It is the same like Islamic relief, but we can see like NGOs or those group uh, which are not being identified with religions, with Islam especially, and they are not claim or portray themselves representing the Muslim NGOs. It seems like they don't care. All right, they don't care. Whatever happened in Palestine, either in 1967 or in the pandemic era nowadays. Okay, so what exactly the reason of this phenomena in Malaysia as compared to the UK? In UK, there is a Muslim, there's an Islamic relief, as well as a Christian group, as well as atheist group. So regardless whatever their background, the main concern is the humanitarian issues. All right. I have mentioned this several times and before as well in the seminar organized by UTM. I said maybe we can try to find ways how to influence the Malaysians and how to convince them this is not a Muslim affair only, but this is a global humanitarian crisis. All right, and our activities have to be not just into brother and sister religious activity during Ramadan, and I'm not saying this is wrong, but you have to be in the broader teams. Okay, it is a humanitarian, regardless humanitarian crisis, regardless what is the background of the Palestinian. We have to understand that the Palestinians, they are not just a Muslim. All right. You can see some of from the history, from the books and from the news. We knew that there are many Palestinian leaders and Palestinian scholars, renowned scholars or leaders, uh, uh, who's that woman, Hanan Ashrawi, and then uh, George Stormy, and then even Edward Said. Edward Said, he is a Palestinian, live in the state in US. So they are not just a Muslim. Okay, so. Finally, as a conclusion, I'm sorry I have to make it short, but don't worry. If the paper published, then you can read in detail all the example provided in my papers. In conclusions, I found that the British and their NGOs is very consistent in these two occasions, in 1967 and also during this COVID-19 pandemic era. And we have to learn. We have to learn something from them, because I always emphasize and continuously emphasize and strongly believe that the problem or the conflict faced by the Palestinians since the establishment of the Israeli states in May 1948, it is not just about religion. This is beyond a religious border. This is humanitarian. So regardless, what is your background, what is your belief, what is your ideology, what is your religion, we have similar responsibilities to assist these unfortunate Palestinians all the time. And we have to be consistent with this. And we have to learn as well how to ensure that our approach, our campaign, our activities in assisting the Palestinians is not been uh, what can I say? It cannot be in a small scope. Only religion. Okay, is and the NGO, especially Dr. Aung Suu Kyi, she is the good example. She is Buddhist. She is Buddhist, a good example. Malaysian who are not a Muslim, but she is very consistent and she's very concerned about the problem and the destiny of the Palestinians. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you again to moderator. I wish that my paper on this topic will be published soon, and we can read it in more details with all the figures and everything. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Hasrul, for your in-depth study, I guess, on the humanitarian aid to Palestine by the British healthcare from a conventional battle of the 1967 conflict to the invisible war of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we are reminded that the Palestine issues is not merely Muslim issues per se, I guess. It's a
Yeah.
humanitarian global affairs, global crisis. So we hope that more Muslim agencies will be able to gear up their humanitarian aid and be consistent, as you said just now, for the humanitarian aid. So we open the floor for any Q&A comments. Is there any questions for Dr. Hasrul?
Or you want to keep the questions for later or whatever.
Let me see the comments first.
I was very sorry. I mean, for not entering early because I tried several times. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually I'm from
Technical issues.
USM. I'm from USM, and we get used with WebEx system. In fact, now I have WebEx online in different occasions.
Okay.
And then suddenly I saw this StreamYard, and but it's okay. It works. I entered the room, but it was the wrong room. Okay,
I guess.
so at least I learned something. That's most
Yes.
important. I learned something. It's the
Yes.
StreamYard.
Something new. Yeah. True.
Something new, but it's good.
Okay.
It's very good system. All right.
Yeah. It runs
Okay.
smoothly,
So
I guess. Okay, so I
yeah.
guess Is there any questions for Dr. Hasrul? If there is no questions, then I would like to thank Dr. Hasrul and Dr. Rafida for their presentations. Despite all the technical
Yeah.
difficulties we have faced this morning, so let us just give way to the next session, I guess, that will start around 10:30, 10:45. So I guess we close this session with Surah Al-As, Tasbih Kafara, and Surah Al-As. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta.
Subhanallah. Wal-asr.
Okay, thank you very much. See you in the next session, insyaAllah. Wabillahi
Inshallah.
taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank
Thank you
you very
very
much,
much.
Doctor.
See you later
Assalamualaikum.
at
Okay,
2 o'clock.
insyaAllah.
Inshallah.
InsyaAllah.
Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. All the best, Doctor.
UTM, University Technology Malaysia. Innovative, entrepreneurial, global. A global award-winning university in engineering and technology that coexists in the community to contribute to mankind. We invest in laboratories and facilities, empowering our people to solve life challenges. We UTM, University Technology Malaysia. Innovative. UTM, University Technology Malaysia. Innovative, entrepreneurial, global. A global award-winning university in engineering and technology that coexists in the community to contribute to mankind. We invest in laboratories and facilities, empowering our people to solve life challenges. We nurture innovative minds through research and teaching because innovative minds drive competitive and innovative research culture. Life problems are brought into the labs to test our inventions against imperfections. Our facilities enrich our students' life because conducive environment triggers creative minds. We empower students to be active contributors in the ecosystem. UTM embraces inclusivity and diversity. Together, making a difference, our entrepreneurial talents continue to improve the quality of life. We reach out to where it matters, the society. Treating water for consumption. Our research products and services have made a difference to many lives. We provide engineering solutions for sustainable development, and our engineering solutions uplift the quality of life and well-being. Our experts are mobilized to affected sites to respond to calls for help. We are proud to serve and make a difference. UTM strives with total commitment to attain excellence in science, technology and engineering for the well-being and prosperity of mankind. UTM, prospering lives.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Welcome to ICCTME 2021. My name is Dr. Nur Najwa Hanani binti Abdul Rahman. I'm from Islamic Civilization Academy UTM. I am a moderator for the second parallel session today. Everyone is given 10 minutes for their presentation. Then we will have question and answer at the end of the session. The theme of this session is education. We have 3 presenters for this session. Let me introduce the first presenter is Dr. Ajah Nakia binti Mazlan, and the title is University Students Awareness is Leisure and Environmental Activity During Pandemic COVID-19. Without further ado, I would like to give the floor to the first presenter.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to our moderator, Dr. Najwa Hanani. Okay, I would like to present our paper, our research paper. The entitled is University Student Awareness in Leisure and Environmental Activities During Pandemic COVID-19. Okay, my team is Muhammad Rustam, Muhammad Ramli and Najwa Shuhada Ahmad Al-Haswara. First of all, I would like to share about the background of our study. Okay, COVID-19 and leisure activities. The occurrence of pandemic COVID-19 has resulted in limitation of outdoor and leisure activities. Previous studies have shown that participation in healthy leisure and activity is one of the important components that can enhance the physical, mental, emotional, and social development of an individual. However, the enforcement of the movement control order gives an impact pressure to those who are active with outdoor or leisure activities. The leisure activities is about the free time used to perform fun activities and give individual satisfaction. Okay, leisure activities may differ between individuals depending on factor related to one interest, place of residence, and way of life. The activities can be categorized as activities at home, education, culture, sport, activity, social activity, and nature environment. Okay, about the environmental awareness. It is important to perceive and conceive the environment is fundamental to the change in community life practice toward the implementation of responsibility to our environment. The result of previous study shows that the level of environmental awareness of Malaysian society is still at a low level when compared to developed countries such as Japan, Denmark, Germany. People are more sensitive to environmental issues, especially those who are close to them. But the awareness to be involved in overcoming to problem is too minimal. Okay, from that, we state our problem statement. In Malaysian, okay, according to the large of number that were recorded in 2018 with a total of 117,387 of them being medically confirmed deaths, while 44,000 around that were not medically confirmed. Okay, you can see a types of disease that the Malaysians can be attacked. Okay, like ischemic heart disease, okay, remain the leading cause of death in Malaysia, with the number 18,267 deaths. It shows that 15.6% of the number of medically confirmed death in 2018. Meanwhile, phenomena recorded the second highest causes of death in the country with 11.8%, followed by cerebrovascular disease, vehicles accident, and chronic lower respiratory disease shows 2.6%. This is due to Malaysians who do not practice a healthy lifestyle or fill their free times or leisure with beneficial activities such as leisure. Okay, the objective of our research is to explore student awareness in leisure activities and to explore student awareness in environmental activities. According to this our research, okay, the methodology we using the mixed method sequential explanatory designs. Okay, we use instrument questionnaire survey and interview protocol. Okay, the questionnaire will we give at 100 UG students, and then the interview we state the volunteer for 9% of UG students, and the analysis part we use a descriptive and thematic analysis from the interview interview scripts. Okay, the result of this research shows that the awareness in leisure activities mean 4.12, and the awareness in environmental activities get means 4.45, and the overall mean for this awareness shows 4.29. Okay, according to the interview session, we got some themes from the script that student answer from the question. Okay, first, students state that they occupy the free time with beneficial activities, and from the activities, they can help to overcome depression and stress problem. And another theme that we get from the awareness in leisure activities team is a platform to strengthen the relationship among them. Okay, and then they also state that get healthy and overcome obesity problem. Okay, from the awareness in environmental activities, we got three themes. Okay, inculcate self-awareness toward a good lifestyle. Second theme, effective strategy to avoid environment disaster. And the last one, a key for a healthy life. Okay, I would like to share some from the answer from the subject. Okay, they thought that they can share responsibility for overcoming the problem of environmental pollution, and also they carry out community service sentence to a sentence period to anyone who is guilty, and also impose fitness according to the type of offence. Alright, from that, our conclusion is the finding reveals that university students very knowledgeable about leisure and awareness of the environment. As well, we know leisure activities are very important, especially for students. This is because it can relieve stress inside. In addition, every student should also be aware of the environment so as not become a thorn in the flesh against the pollution that occur around. The main contribution and the novelty of this paper was summarized as follows. To maintain and increase the level of awareness in leisure and environmental activities, all parties must be creative and not curb healthy activities among the community. It is necessary in order to trigger positive effect in student emotion, especially during in pandemic COVID-19. With that, I would like to thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ajanakia, for your presentation. Very interesting topic about university student awareness in leisure and environmental activity during pandemic COVID-19. Now, I'd like to call the second presenter. He is Mr. Muhammad Izzuddin Muhammad Pisol, and the title is Togetherness in Succeeding the Development of Part-Time Teacher Training Mode. The floor is yours, Mr. Izzuddin.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inshallah, today we will be presenting on the topic Educational Investment Initiative in Part-Time Teacher Training at International Islamic University College Selangor, a case study. This is a study conducted by Muhammad Izzuddin Muhammad Pisol, Azizi Omar, Ahmad Shafiq Madrazali, Muhammad Salihin Hafizi Muhammad Fauzi, Muhammad Faiz Ilyas, Julia Matsalan, from the Faculty of Education, International Islamic University College Selangor, KUIS, and from the Faculty of Education, National University Malaysia, UKM. As an introduction, in recent times, most students choose to work on full-time basis and make the weekends to make their own needs, such as obtaining education on part-time mode, either at diploma or bachelor's degree level. So for these students, the options to study on part-time basis is due to the factors of responsibility in helping to ease the financial burden of family, as well as employment factor. So these students, they are working on part-time basis because they want to help their family ease the financial burden, as well as because they are working on full-time basis. So the sacrifice of time and money is a huge expense faced by students who wish to learn on part-time basis. Inshallah, this study will focus on educational investment initiative in part-time education training in order to help make teacher training on part-time basis successful. Hence, this study is trying to elaborate educational sources concept and corporate social responsibility concept, explain existing educational assistance sources, as well as suggest several educational assistance sources, especially for part-time students. Let us look on educational sources and CSR. Generally, education is considered as important and powerful instrument to enhance economic growth, sources of income, reduce poverty rate, empower individuals, improve health status, increase healthy competition in the economy. Now, education is given a particular attention when applying developmental strategies as well as economic expansion. It plays an important role towards rising human capital in a developing country. It is found that human capital with good education and nurture has a positive direct impact on the productivity, development, and economic expansion of a country. It is found that education at the tertiary level has the highest impact on economic development of a country compared to educational qualifications obtained at secondary and primary school levels. Education is a type of human investment that can produce economic benefits and contribute to the nation's economic growth. Cone view that educational investment should be undertook by any individual and organization by using a variety of resources available, although it is limited either in the form of training, knowledge expansion, or skills development. The term corporate social responsibility, or CSR, refers to the management obligation of an organization to make decisions and take actions that will help in the welfare and benefits of the community as well as the organization. CSR is a commitment to enhance the well-being of the people as well as enhancing the organization's image. In Malaysia, CSR initiative has been given attention and are strongly encouraged to be implemented, especially in the recent decade. In September 2006, Malaysian Stock launched a social responsibility framework for public companies in Malaysia. The framework aims to provide guidance to corporate companies in Malaysia in carrying out social responsibility, and the 4 components which become the main focus are identified as responsibilities to the environment, work location, community, and market location. CSR sources are derived from the profits of companies or institutions in doing business based on distribution of zakat. So, the effort in supporting education and intellectual developments are able to focus on assisting students who play a role in developing education. The assisting efforts can be in the form of educational sponsorship, training, and courses in improving students' motivation on learning and education-related fields. Now let us look at existing educational assistance. The first one is educational loan based on Qard al-Hasan. The loan or qard in Islam is a contract founded on the basis of helping, volunteering, which is tabarruk, and compassion for the individual in needs. In other words, it is a type of debt giving in the form of sum of money or loans of goods, such as lending something valuable, provided that it is refunded later on. Al-Qard is a loan that involves the transfer of goods ownerships or commodities that can be budgeted and replaced according to numbers, measurements, or scales. The term Qard al-Hasan means a loan which is a manifestation of one's concern to do welfare by helping his brother who is in difficulty, especially in financial aspects. This is followed by the second existing educational assistance, which is personal savings of the students. In order to have personal savings, parents should nurture saving habit since childhood. Savings can help in the success of education loans at the higher education level. Several saving schemes introduced in the banking sector receive great attention, especially from the parents. For example, the introduction of a National Education Savings Scheme, or SSBNI. It is a scheme or saving instrument especially designed by the National Higher Education Fund, or PTPTN, for higher education purposes. As for the main financial sources of part-time students, based on the researchers' observation, financial assistance facilities and loans to part-time students in Malaysia are very limited, either from banking institutions or from foundations which hold corporate social responsibility programs. This is because all the educational assistance facilities focus on full-time students only. Consequently, for these students, in order for them to further studying, there are several means or several mediums for them to finance their study. The first one is study fee deduction from KWSP Account 2. The Account 2 of KWSP can help fund education either for oneself or for one's child who wish to continue studying. However, constraints are also faced for those who are working in short periods of time in which there will be insufficient fund to accommodate over a long period of study. There is also savings from allowance and monthly salary, especially for part-time students. Students who are working on full-time basis are likely to keep a portion of their allowances or monthly salary received to pay tuition fees from semester to semesters. Nonetheless, family commitments such as house rents, home expenses, as well as daily expenses would likely cause the accumulated saving to be insufficient. Hence, these are suggestions on educational assistance. The first suggestion is towards National Higher Education Fund Corporation. It is hoped that PTPTN would consider applications from private higher learning institution students for studies in the field of education in order to help training and development of teachers' professionalism in Malaysia. This is because the number of part-time students is not too many in comparison to full-time students. It is also recommended that IPTS or private higher learning institutions would revise the conditions for PTPTN approval of students in part-time mode. This is because PTPTN has provided loan facilities to 5 private higher education institutions such as OUM, Open Wawasan University, UNITA, Unirazak, as well as Asia EU. The next suggestion would be local convertible loan. Currently, educational loan facilities are only given to students studying in full-time study basis. Therefore, researchers are of the opinion that the state government may consider providing flexibility to students studying in public and private institutions of higher learning on part-time basis to use the country's variety of loan facility. Next is State Foundation Education Loan. The facility of education loans by State Foundation only focuses on students studying full-time. Thus, opportunities for all facilities towards working class should also be given consideration in order to be able to assist these students in continuing and finishing the study better. As for suggestions towards banking institution, there is the convertible loan financing program, in which prospective part-time bachelor's degree students should be given the flexibility to apply and be further considered for loan approval. However, the bank can still continue imposing the terms and conditions on the examination results and so on. For suggestions towards religious agencies such as State Islamic Religious Council can assist through existing zakat institutions. The existence of relationship between religious agencies and zakat institutions in the state play a dire role in providing zakat allocation in assisting teachers who wish to pursue their studies on part-time basis. For suggestions towards masjid and surau institutions, the role of mosque and surau institutions is very large in the success of education development of the Qaryas member. So, the existence of funds and savings in helping Qaryah members who wish to study further is indeed helpful in alleviating the cost of study they faced in each semester. For suggestions towards educational institutions, which is the place of working for these part-time students, it is crucial for employers or educational institutions, which is the working place, to provide support to part-time students either directly or indirectly. The educational institution itself needs to provide financial allocation for professional courses and training needs among teachers. Even though the amount of allocation is small, however, if it can contribute towards continuing teacher training continuity, hence it is very helpful in increasing teachers' professionalism. Next is existing sponsorship facility. So based on the researcher's observation, there has been a facility set up for public staff to continue studying on part-time mode. This is a very good start in developing training and education to a public servant. So the program is named Sponsorship Program for Implementing Group, which is PPKP, to pursue part-time study. The implementing staff members who apply for this sponsorship program shall pursue higher education that is higher than the existing academic qualifications that they have already had. Next is the existing loan facility. There are several facilities identified, such as being cooperative member, ahli koperasi. So the cooperative member or the cooperative society is a financial institution for those in need of financial assistance. It is proposed that the students on part-time mode register as cooperative members, in which the cooperative are registered with Angkasa. For example, in Selangor, a cooperative was established, which is Koperasi Guru-Guru Islam Selangor Berhad, or KOSEGA. So the teachers who are teaching in Selangor and Federal Territories are eligible to become the cooperative members. So the compulsory monthly contribution is only 42 ringgit through salary deduction from Angkasa Service Bureau. That way, teachers who are studying on part-time basis will get the Angkasa Foundation's education funding facility. Next, there is also zakat assistance through a higher education institution. Educational institutions also have facilities and appointed as IPT Assistant Amil or Zakat Collector to perform their duties as an agent to receive zakat payment and as managers in channeling zakat assistance to students and staff in need. So it is hoped that the zakat institutions take consideration and ease zakat application conditions for part-time students. Last but not least, there is cooperative in education institutions. Educational assistance through cooperative will contribute in helping students. Not all students are registered in cooperatives. Nonetheless, the existence of the institution will provide a channel for financial assistance to students in continuing their studies. Educational costs as well as other necessities can be paid in one-off manner, which will aid the financial burden of part-time students. This will contribute to a better learning experience and learning activities. As for our conclusion, educational loan and scholarship are good facilities, especially for part-time students. This will provide a chance for the students to continue their studies, especially those with low income. In the recent economic development, it is hoped that the authorities, especially financial institutions, would revisit the ideas of existing educational resources and other further improvements to secure the sustainability in facing financial challenges, especially those that are faced during part-time studying process. Hope that these suggestions would be taken into consideration, inshallah, in order to assist students who are studying in part-time mode to have better experience in learning, inshallah.
Thank you to presenter Mr. Izzuddin and team for your presentation. Thanks to all presenter. Now I would like to open for question and answer. Okay, Dr. Aja, I have one question. Saya ada satu soalan.
Yes.
Saya tanya bahasa Melayu je lah ataupun what is the most suitable activities, maknanya sesuai aktiviti yang sesuai pelajar lakukan dalam masa era pandemik COVID ni, lagi untuk dia kekalkan kecemerlangan dia tu. Dia nak kekalkan maknanya momentum sebagai pelajar kan, ada tak aktiviti yang sesuai?
Okey, saya kongsikan BM je kan. Okey, saya kongsikan sedikit lah apa aktiviti-aktiviti yang mereka lakukan lah. Okey, daripada kajian yang kita dapat dan daripada apa yang kita lihat lah kan, daripada persepsi daripada pelajar bagi. Okey, mereka rata-ratanya sebab mereka aktif. Okey, ada di antara mereka aktif. Jadi dalam pandemik COVID-19 ni mereka still menjalankanlah aktiviti-aktiviti yang melibatkan kecergasan. Contohnya, okey, ada di antara mereka setiap petang mereka ada yang lakukan skipping. Jadi mereka kekalkan kecergasan mereka, ada yang buat explosive jump, lepas tu ada yang buat macam fitness punya aktiviti. Contohnya saya bagi apa yang kita dapatlah daripada hasil kajian ni, contohnya macam mereka main bola sepak. Jadi untuk kita sendiri maklumlah kalau ketika pandemik COVID-19 ada SOP yang kita kena ikut, dan pada mula-mula MCO berlaku tidak boleh ada sebarang aktiviti dalam komuniti yang ramai. Jadi macam mana mereka nak main kan? Okey, mereka still boleh aplikasikan kemahiran mereka tu. Ada di antaranya mereka contohnya mengekalkan agility mereka tu. Okey, mereka siap ada gunakan apps yang ada. Jadi dia boleh contohnya touch bola tu, okey, berapa kiraan bola tu. Jadi apps tu boleh mampu mengira perlakuan dia tu. Okey, ada juga di antara pelajar-pelajar kita ni yang saya nampak mereka buat body workout. Contohnya macam plank ke, reverse crunches. Jadi macam-macam pelbagai aktiviti mereka still kekalkan walaupun pandemik berlaku. Okey, itu yang kita nampak lah. Dan kalau daripada persepsi environmental awareness pula, okey, yang macam ada yang berada di rumah, okey, mereka berkebun dengan mak, lepas tu mereka buat aktiviti-aktiviti menanam pokok, lepas tu asyik ada yang ajar adik dia, okey, tanam pokok macam gini. Jadi mereka buat aktiviti tu secara tidak langsung, mereka still bertindak balas dengan environment, dan mereka mengekalkan fizikal kesihatan mereka tu dengan mereka berpeluh. Jadi aktiviti tu double kebaikan lah yang pada mereka kalau mereka lakukan. Jadi itulah kaitan di antara soalan Dr. Najwa tadi, dan dia relate lah dengan apa yang kami kaji lah ketika pandemik COVID-19.
Alright, thank you Dr. Aja for your explanation. So maknanya kita pun kena perlu kekalkan kan. Maknanya kita pun perlu buat aktiviti dalam pandemik COVID ni supaya maknanya kesihatan kita akan kekal lah kan, insyaAllah. Okay, since we are running out of time, I would like to thank all of you, presenter and participant for joining this session. InsyaAllah, see you in the next session. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thank you Dr. Aja.
Thank you Dr. Najwa.
Okay, Dr. Aja, sorry, sorry saya tak perasan, ada soalan dekat Facebook.
Okay.
Boleh, okay. Soalannya adalah salam tumpang tanya, sejak PKP kita selalu duduk dalam rumah dan tak dapat udara luar. Adakah situasi itu sihat untuk naikkan kesedaran untuk mahasiswa belajar?
selalu duduk dalam rumah dan tak dapat udara luar. Adakah situasi itu sihat untuk naikkan kesedaran? Okey, terima kasih dengan soalan yang diajukan. Okey, untuk pengetahuan semua, okey, tak semestinya kita berada dekat dalam rumah tu kita tak boleh nak aplikasikan untuk mengekalkan kesihatan kita lah. Maksudnya pada soalan yang ditanyakan, okey, duduk di rumah tak dapat nak keluar rumah, adakah situasi itu sihat? Okey, tengok pada persekitarannya lah. Kalau ini suggestion saya lah, kalau ruangan yang kecil, okey, kalau ruangan kecil, kita berada pada ruangan yang kecil, janganlah kita membuat aktiviti yang melibatkan pergerakan yang memerlukan keluasan yang lebih. Jadi dia akan mengganggu juga kita punya pernafasan dan akan mengganggu juga aktiviti yang kita nak buat. Jadinya ikut kesesuaian. Di sini saya nak tekankan, tak kisahlah kita berada di dalam rumah ke, berada di luar rumah ke, kita kena tengok keselamatan kawasan kita tu dan kesesuaian kalau kita nak buat apa-apa aktiviti lah. Sebabnya macam saya nak ingatkan matlamat kita, kita nak sihat, kita nak buat aktiviti, tapi pastikan keadaan dia tu sesuai dengan kita punya situasi lah. Jadi jangan terlebih, maksudnya jangan melibatkan apa yang kita lakukan tu boleh mendapatkan efek yang negatif pada diri kita sendiri. Macam itulah, maksudnya ikut kesesuaian lah, tak kira lah kita berada dalam rumah ke, kita berada kat luar ke, semuanya kita kena ambil tahu rezeki dia lah, apa yang kita boleh dapat ataupun apa boleh kita perolehi kalau kita buat sesuatu tindakan tu.
Alright, okay. Thank you
Sekali
Dr.
lagi,
Ajah for your explanation. Sekali lagi minta maaf Dr. Ajah. Tadi ingat tak ada soalan, ada soalan. Ada lagi ke soalan? Have another question sebelum kita tutup sesi kita? Okay, so saya rasa tak ada Dr. Ajah.
Okay, terima kasih.
Thank you again for your explanation and presentation today and all participants. So insyaAllah see you in the next session insyaAllah.
Okay,
Sekian,
terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam.
UTM, University Technology Malaysia.